All right, Steve, you're with Ed.
All right, easy Ed Ruth. This is Steve Jewin from MMA Mania. A pleasure to talk to you again. And how are you doing today?
I'm doing good, man. Nice to talk to you.
Yeah, it's always good to hear that you're doing good, and you would want to be doing good because you've got a very big fight, the main event, coming up here at Bellator 239 with Yaroslav Amosov. It's undefeated, and you're only one loss yourself, so it's a very high-ranking fight. How are you feeling about it right now?
I'm feeling great. Camp's been going great. Um, no injuries, thank God. And yeah, I'm just ready for this.
What is your assessment of Yaroslav Amosov? He's had a couple of fights in Bellator now, but obviously he was very strong on the international scene before he came here. So what do you think of him as an opponent?
I think he's a perfect guy for right now. I definitely see him as a step up from my last opponent, and I think this definitely puts me right in that right in that area for fighting for the belt.
Well, it's interesting you mentioned the belt because we just got an announcement this afternoon that there's going to be a crossover fight between the welterweight champion Douglas Lima and the former middleweight champion Gegard Mousasi on May 9th. So do you feel like that holds up the division for the title that you're gunning for?
It does hold it up, but also, it's a win-win for us. If Lima wins the title, or even if he loses the title, we still get to see how the 170 guy does against the 185 champ. So I think that's still kind of cool.
Yeah, although I think we also saw that when Rory McDonald tried the same thing with Gegard Mousasi, didn't quite work out so well.
No, it did not.
No, but I think after seeing the way Douglas Lima handled Roy McDonald in their rematch, I think he would fare a lot better against Mousasi than McDonald did.
Yeah. He's a guy who could definitely take more punishment and dish it out.
Absolutely. But speaking of taking punishment, there were a couple of times in that Jason Jackson fight where I thought he might have been winning the striking exchanges with you. Were you surprised by that?
I was surprised, but in those striking exchanges, usually it's like they can go either way, and it can change in a moment's notice. And there was a lot of times where I was throwing something out there, and then he'd catch me, and then he'd back me down. Then next thing I know, I'm backing him down. So yeah, it was a pretty crazy fight. It was pretty back and forth.
Did you always know in the back of your mind, even when things didn't work out in that moment, that, hey, I've got that Division I pedigree, that collegiate wrestling experience, so if this goes bad, I can always take it down and dominate him there?
Yeah, that even when I do get knocked down, the guy has to come in to finish you. So it's like, okay, well, you're around me, I can just go ahead and start grabbing legs. I can wrestle you from here.
Mm-hmm.
Thank God I have long arms.
Well, you'll want to use those long arms to your advantage because Yaroslav Amosov, so far as we know, since he's 22-0, he doesn't seem to have many weaknesses.
We'll expose him on the 21st.
All right. Well, I'll look forward to seeing that. What did you think of his fight with the caveman, David Rickles?
I thought it was a good fight. I thought he fought really smart, kept his distance. He was tagging him when he found pretty good opportunities there. I just didn't feel like Rickles showed enough. He didn't show much. He was just kind of land some big shots here and there. But overall, I thought it was a good fight.
Yeah, I was a little, if I can be honest, I was a little disappointed with Caveman's performance in that fight. I thought, this is a guy who's renowned for just going crazy haywire in his fights, and he just kind of let Amosov dictate the pace and let him bring the fight to him instead of the other way around.
Yeah, he was really conservative, then Amosov was just kind of taking him down at will.
Yeah, not the fight I expected.
In the later round.
Right, in the second round before it led to the choke. But yeah, he definitely set the tone for that fight, which I'm sure that going in here with Amosov, you're going to do the exact opposite. You're going to be the one setting the tone, right?
Yeah, because I'm a pressure fighter. He's a pressure fighter, and I know that I have more pressure than he does.
So what's been your biggest adjustment in the training camp from the last fight to this one?
Just, I kind of just kept doing the same thing, just trying to become better overall. I just feel like it's like a weird thing with MMA. It's like when you work on something different, then you feel more comfortable in a different area. I felt more comfortable in my striking after I was doing more jiu-jitsu.
But I mean, that
So I
makes
just kind
sense.
of just kept doing everything.
To me, that makes sense actually, because having that confidence comes from having strength in your overall game. So if you improve in any area, you're like, okay, I can let my hands go because I know if that doesn't work, I've got this in my back pocket.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like that's what the Nate Diaz brothers do. You know, they knock them down. They're like, okay, come on, let's go.
Oh, I definitely was feeling that when I saw the fight between Diaz and Masvidal. It was like, okay, hit me in the face some more. Hit me as much as you want. I'm just gonna keep
Yeah,
coming.
yeah.
Oh
Uh,
man. So besides the eventual shot that you want to get at Douglas Lima, we'll see how things go for him after May 9th. But what else is on your radar right now if you can't get the champ anytime soon?
just anybody that keeps progressing me forward. You know, anybody that they see as a challenge or who's the next step. You know, I like to keep challenging myself, and as long as Bellator keeps putting another guy in front of me, I'm just like, okay, let's go. Keep those fights coming.
What about a rematch with Neiman Gracie? Is that something you've given any thought to?
I have given it some thought, and it does. And if it does come down the pipeline, I would love to do that again. But it, you know, if he wants to or not, I don't really have too much to say on that.
Yeah, well, maybe he'll listen to this and he'll let you know if he has any thoughts on that. But in the meantime, let me get your thoughts on something else. We just saw Rafael Lovato vacate the title, which obviously opened up the Lima Musasi fight they were getting on May 9th. So, what were your thoughts on hearing that a Bellator champion was relinquishing his belt?
I thought that was crazy, man. Especially how it happened. He just went in for the brain scan, and they were telling him, "Hey, you probably should not be fighting." You know, that's crazy because a lot of fighters could be that way. And man, it scared me a little bit. I was like, man, I hope that doesn't happen to me. But then again, you never know what people do in their off time, so when they're not professional fighters. So
Right? There's all sorts of things that can lead to unforeseen circumstances such as that, but I imagine that just a lifetime of athletic training might made him more susceptible, or it might just have been a genetic disorder that just happened to crop up. I mean, with Cowernoma, there's so many things that are unexplained about it. It just seems to happen to people sometimes.
yeah, and I hate the fact that he has to lose his belt that way. You know, I hate the fact that if anybody had to lose the chance to lose the opportunity to fight, like that's awful. You know, fighting's a really fun sport for the guys who love it.
Seems to be something that's cropped up in Bellator more lately. Just bad luck for certain people because same thing happened with Kyoji Horiguchi. He had to relinquish the bantamweight title due to injury.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, so that belt's
Yeah,
up for
I
grabs
didn't
as
know
well.
about that. What happened to him?
I'm not sure exactly what it was. It was just a press release saying that because of repeated medical situations and it didn't disclose the exact nature.
Ugh, ugh,
Yeah, just how,
man, just hard to stay healthy.
it is. So, what do you do in your own life? Because you've been very successful from your college days all the way through now. So, how do you avoid those circumstances and stay in your peak shape?
I just do a lot of recovery, you know, and I live a pretty conscious lifestyle. You know, I try to stay home. I'm a homebody, so I don't really go out too much on the weekends. I used to a lot in college, but you know, I settled down a lot, and I guess I just have really good habits. You know, and I feel like that's what really helps because you know, as a fighter. What like recovery helps you learn and retain information better, and it just helps you recover. And a lot of people neglect that for some reason.
And I think you probably hit the key with that you stay home and don't go out at party at nights too, because if your body's going to recover, it's a lot easier to recover when you're not hungover the next morning.
Yeah, exactly. It took me a while to get to figure that one out, but you know, you worked it out.
Well, you know what? It took me until my mid to late 30s to figure that one out. So you're ahead of the curve here.
I caught myself at a good time.
Absolutely. And it is a good time right now, too, because with a two-fight win streak and, like you said, a win over an undefeated fighter, it seems like the whole world will just be your oyster for the taking with a big win.
Yeah, I do feel that way.
And of course, Yaroslav Amosov must be feeling that way too. He's like looking at you going, hey, if I get this win, I'm in position for a title shot. So he's gunning for you in a big way.
I do not see that in the future. I cannot see that in my reality. He must go down.
All right. Well, we'll look forward to getting the answer to that question here in a very short amount of time. But before that, I want to give you the opportunity, as I always do, to plug sponsors, plug teammates, plug social media. Ed, anything you want to mention, please go ahead at this time.
Yeah, my sponsors. Sponsors, Lactico, Blackwater, Oak Grove, American Ethanol. Who else is there? Unbreakable Mouthpieces. And also, you can find me on my Twitter handle. That's EdRoof67. And you can also find me at Eroof67 on Instagram.
All right.
And I think that's it.
Be sure to follow him in all those places, but most importantly, be sure to follow him in the main event of Bellator 239, Ed Ruth and Yaroslav Amosov, Friday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 Central on Paramount and The Zone. Ed, thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem, man. Thank you.
You bet, and thank you, Colin, as well.
Thanks, Steve. Appreciate it.
Bye-bye.